Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television. A quick reminder of our top stories. Ahead of tomorrow's third anniversary of the APC-led administration, President Muhammadu Buhari gives his scorecard, vows to ensure a more secure and prosperous Nigeria. Former INEC chairman Professor Tahiru Jega warns against actions that may put the 2019 general elections in jeopardy and sets corruption rife in the National Assembly. In continuation of our assessment of President Muhammadu Buhari's 3 years administration, tonight we shift our attention to the provision of infrastructure. A Malian migrant gets French citizenship for his heroic rescue of a 4-year-old boy dangling from a balcony in Paris. ChannelsTV.com has more information for you, and on YouTube.com/channelsweb you can watch our videos. You can also watch us on your mobile device via your browser or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows devices from their respective stores. Besides giving you access to news and updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app have an eyewitness feature that you can use to share those pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu and follow the instructions. Well, here are some of the pictures you sent to us. Let's begin with this one from Akure, the Ondo state capital, showing the Children's Day celebration in a rather dramatic fashion. According to our eyewitness reporter, these people kneeling are teachers taking instructions from their students who are playing the role of the teachers. He wishes children across the country a happy celebration. And still in schools is this next image of a primary school, Anglican Primary School at Talausa here in Ikeja, the Lagos state capital, showing an ongoing construction which our eyewitness reporter says is meant for a bus stop. He's worried of the negative impact this will have on children and pupils going to school. He wants it relocated. And let us end with this one from Isheri North in Lagos state, showing these geese and ganders. Our eyewitness reporter states that these birds are beautiful and a sight to behold. We do sincerely thank you for sending in those images, and please note that you too can send in pictures and videos from around the world. Particularly, you can report how you celebrate the Democracy Day tomorrow. Well, we told you earlier of the Northern Pentecostal Bishop Forum, which is asking the federal government to deal decisively with, as it puts it, criminal masquerading as herdsmen. The chairman of the forum, Archbishop John Praise Daniel, laments the killing of innocent Nigerians and wants the federal government to devise new methods to stop the armed bandits.
The attack by armed herdsmen is again the focus of this discussion by the Northern Pentecostal bishops as the forum meets in Abuja. The chairman of the group expresses concern over the increasing attacks by herdsmen.
The spate of deadly attacks by armed herdsmen in various communities nationwide, particularly in the North Central geopolitical zone, resulting in massive loss of lives and properties, needs to be decisively dealt with by government in line with its constitutional responsibility.
With the continued attacks by Boko Haram insurgents, the forum demands the rescue of Leah Shuaibu, the Dapchi schoolgirl still in the captivity of the insurgents, and the remaining Chibok schoolgirls abducted in Borno State.
The federal government should be more aggressive in whatever efforts it has deployed to resolve Leah Shuaibu, the lone Dapchi girl still in Boko Haram captivity since February 2018.
At another event, the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center demand a legislation abrogating security votes of the state governors.
Security votes are one of the most durable forms of corruption that exist in Nigeria, and it is time for us to end this outdated relic of military rule and ensure that the funds are used to protect citizens, not line the pockets of politicians.
Launching a report titled Camouflage Cash, How Security Votes Fuel Corruption, the group believes that the security votes are better managed by the nation's security agencies.
The European Union is pledging its support to Nigeria to achieve efficiency in the provision of infrastructure for development. The European ambassador to Nigeria, Cartel Carlson, made this pledge while inaugurating the reconstructed and remodeling of the former produce house in Port Harcourt, River State. The governor of River State says that the dilapidated and abandoned state of the former produce house has now produced a new building that will house the United Nations and the World Bank office in the South-South. I'll move into, let's quickly get some more perspective on this matter. And I'm now being joined live from our Abuja studios by former Secretary General of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyor, Mr. Adewumi Akimpelu. I want to thank you so much indeed for joining us on the news at 10 at this time. How would you assess the 3 years past of the APC administration in terms of the infrastructure development that the government has been able to achieve?
Thank you very much for having me on a happy Democracy Day for Nigerians. Infrastructure is something that you don't pick on the shelf. It takes time to deliver this project. What the government has done so far is to use a kind of medium-term strategy by looking at what we have in the budget and how the infrastructure can be delivered. If you recall, about 1.2 trillion naira has been released in 2016 and 1.4 trillion in 2017, giving a total of 2.7 trillion within 2 years, which I believe, is something that is colossal enough. And not only that, when you look at the side of the budget where debt is being used, the administration has been able to use the Sukuk bond to raise, to pursue 25 projects across all the infrastructure. When you say infrastructure, we have the social infrastructure and the economic infrastructure. For social infrastructure and the economic infrastructure, I want to say in terms of realities, they've done well. But in terms of expectation from Nigerians, there may be some hiccup here and there. But one thing is clear, infrastructure takes time because there's gestation period for you to deliver this project. 3 years, you have 4 years to deliver whatever program you want to do. So what the government has been able to do is to leverage on our national integrated master plan that was done by the previous administration. So from that master plan, they were able to come up with ERG plan, which is the medium term. And that is where you have stream of projects coming on the board. The Sukuk, used to do 25 projects. And again, there is the first sovereign green bond to tackle the problem of climate, challenge. So when you look at it and you aggregate everything, I think they've done well. However, the government needs to now start looking towards a long-term plan, and that will drive further, delivery of infrastructure.
When you say the government should be looking at a long-term plan, what precisely do you mean by that? What kind of plan would that be?
Okay, when you look at it, for power, for instance, federal government has been able to do some expansion program in the transmission and distribution segment. All these things take time, and they need to be looking towards how they can get long-term finance to run all these long-term projects. Because as a government, they have 4 years to deliver whatever they have. And what they need to do now is to start thinking of how to come up with a master plan. And I want to advise the government if they can still look into that master plan, that is National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan, which was done by the last administration and supposed to run for 30 years. For now, they've been able to come up with RGP, making RGP subset of that master plan. There are some other sectors across the board that they need to look into. So that is why they have to come up with a long-term plan on how to finance this infrastructure. And by then, they have to be thinking of alternative funding, which is public-private partnership. It takes time. That is why the administration, they were so innovative in their funding by looking at medium-term, short-term loan to run this project, because we are talking of 4 years to deliver this project. And it will pay Nigeria if you can come up with a master plan that will run within a span of 30 to 40 years, so that we can now start looking at how to fund this thing through PPP.
That's a good place to let it rest. I must thank you so much indeed for talking to us on the News at 10. Mr. Adewumi Akinpelu, the former Secretary General of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors. Thank you so much indeed for talking to us. When the News at 10 returns, Nigeria's central bank governor vows stiff penalties for commercial banks that fail to comply with the directive on sale of foreign exchange to Nigerians. That's on Business News. Join us again.